Barry, that Goat Metal Show, with a quick segment. That's something that was popping up in my head recently when I was overhearing some classic albums again. The topic is remastered albums from back in the days. The technology has gotten better. They're able to make the sounds come out better, and make it louder, faster. Whatever any little thing that they wanted to fix into those songs, they can make it better with the technology. But there is some cases where albums, they have anniversaries or whatever, and the bands will go and remaster these albums with basically re-recording certain parts of the song. Now, I wanted to talk about real quick 3 albums that I felt that they should have just remastered to tweak the volume and maybe, but as far as re-recording parts to the songs and the albums, I wasn't really too thrilled with it. And it's going to be the 3 Megadeth albums that Dave Mustaine did where he remastered, which, we got Peace Sells, But Who's Buying, So Far, So Good, So What, and, of course, Rust in Peace. Now, I remember picking up all 3 of those albums when they first came out, listening to the original versions on cassette, and they always stood with me a certain way. Even when you go and you watch some of the old music videos for the songs, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Try to pick up on some of those old music videos and listen to them. And, especially, for a lot of the newer generation who only picked up the remastered versions of these albums and then get a chance to listen to the original. Listen to those versions. And, there's a big difference. But me, I basically grew with the original versions. And not to say that the remasters are bad. They're actually pretty decent, But it didn't give me that feel from when I first heard them. So, to me, it still kind of has a little bit of a to it. But you guys tell me what you think. I like I said, I like the album, but sometimes remastering, re-recording, it all depends. It all depends. I think Megadeth should have just remastered to increase the volume and the take on it, but not re-record them. But that's all I got right now. This is Barry, that Goat Metal Show.
Barry, this is Rich, the silent producer, also agreeing that remastering is beneficial to old catalogs, remastering the sound, but not remastering certain parts to be re-recorded and altering the original lyrics or music. It should not be done. Another interesting fact about Megadeth is that they released a 5-song Japanese-only release that was acoustic with no vocals. And this was put out as an import by Capitol Records in 1998. Sick of it all, a New York City hardcore band put out Blood, Sweat, and No Tears. Classic album. When I listen to it on cassette, it's a great album that has a warm analog sound. Then years later, they re-recorded tracks from the album. They even changed the KRS-One intro to it. It's still good, but it doesn't have the sound as the original. Sodom, which is one of my favorite German thrash bands, has 2 early albums that are out of print. And they also did the same thing by cashing in on re-recording albums. And although the re-recorded versions sound good, they just don't match up to the vinyls. Some bands have also remastered their albums to alter the artwork and change the band names. In this case, Incubus became Obrium. Legendary New York band Mortician also re-recorded an album, but instead of using a drum machine, they used a real drummer. With the album The Final Bloodbath Sessions, Suicidal Tendencies did the same thing when they re-recorded an album with new band members. That's why it's important to carefully read the bright stickers on the front of the albums before you purchase them. This 20th anniversary release has Anthrax doing cuts from the first 5 albums, but with a different vocalist, John Bush. Even Twisted Sister re-recorded their album because they weren't happy with the production. Dimmu Borgir, black metal band, re-recorded Stormblast because they wanted to add different lyrics. Destruction also joined in on the thrash reissues with Thrash Anthems Volumes 1 and 2 of the re-recorded versions of the originals. Exodus re-recorded some tracks from Bonded by Blood, and it was not well received by the fans. Impaled re-recorded their debut, and in this case, the re-recording actually came out pretty good. Flotsam and Jetsam re-recorded No Place for Disgrace in 2014, and I just don't understand why they did it. Manowar did a 2-disc CD reissue, re-recorded new versions and new lyrics. Exhumed switched up their cover for their remaster of Gore Metal. Cradle of Filth had financial, legal, and new lineup changes, and they were forced to alter their album also. Hypocrisy was unhappy with the mix of their album Catch 22, so Peter Tagdren remastered it himself. Bethlehem put out their album. They switched up their logo, their label, the cover art, and they even got a new vocalist. My Dying Bride even did a re-recording where they added orchestral pieces to their album. My personal opinion is that, yeah, reissue the albums if they're out of print, but please do not re-record the originals and alter how they were originally intended to be heard.